2021. It happened. Here's some movies I loved when it did. Gianfranco Rossi is one of the most nuanced and intelligent documentarians working. He has a way of getting across the everyday of the socio-political subjects or groups or lifestyles. This is one of his most ambitious ones, where he went across for a couple of years towards post-war torn countries such as Iraq or Lebanon. The way human beings can adjust to their circumstances, any circumstances, is both fascinating and really heartbreaking, and this is told in a neutral and visually arresting, murky way. Wonderful little Indian film where this really angry man is journeying across with his son to try to demand that the boy's mother comes back with him, who's run away from him because of his abuse. It really examines gender imbalance, but it's told in this kind of very poetic tempo. It's one of the most interesting little films I've seen all year.
Ja, alles ist gut. Ich bin groß genug. Okay. اما بهرام بابام
الو منصور جان سلام خوبم
An absolutely scathing indictment of capital punishment that's told through four segments that all had to be shot in secret because the director of this had to hide the fact that he was directing from the Iranian government because he had a ban from filmmaking. You should watch this for the myriad and difficult musings of this subject and how normalized it is in Iran, but also because, again, this guy shot this all in secret and it looks amazing. It's an incredible achievement.
You want Zinger?
No thanks, I've got my own.
Uh-huh.
I'm on 5 different medications.
Jesus fucking Christ.
In a broader skewering of American traditional lifestyles and values that are kind of just dissipated as time has gone on. For better, really, not for worse, if you want my opinion. It started off as a rather unimpressive lampooning for me. It took me a while for this movie to grow on me, but it mostly was true to main cast, and it was like one of the most endearing and fun love stories I've seen in a film in quite a while. It's one of the more deceptively colourful films I've seen this year too. It really pops with this American's corniness that, it really takes with its advantage.
Abby, Uncle Morty's second wife's sister. You remember her?
No, I don't think so.
She used to play bridge with Bubby.
Really?
Here.
Oh, Mom, I can't eat that.
Why not?
I'm vegetarian.
You're killing me.
I've told you it so many times.
You have not eaten a single thing all day.
That's because we just got here.
You look like Gwyneth Paltrow on food stamps.
Oh my God.
And not in a good way.
An absolute by disaster is forced to go to this conservative Jewish kind of family event where she runs into her ex, who's a woman, and also her sugar daddy, who's there with his family. So fun all around. This was one of the most anxiety-laden things I've seen all year. And when not all of the plotting really works for me, really hate the stupid shit they do with the phone, for example. It's incredible lead performance, and its ability to be both intense but also hilarious really makes this one of the hidden gems. You should definitely check this one out. This is a black and white documentary that's set on a farm that's focusing on its family of piglets. Telling more of it would kind of give away a lot of what this movie is getting across, but its unobtrusive camera work really gets across this naturalistic development as we see these little piglets grow up. Great use of shot composition. It really makes you care about all these animals.
Did you hear about Dad?
Yeah.
If there was one thing that you could have said to him before he died, what would it had been?
So yeah, this film actually came out in 2015, but it only got a release in movie over here because of the success of Chloe Zhao's other movies like Nomadland. And I'm really happy I saw it, and she's had a really good year this year. It's a shame that this is the one that kind of took forever to come out here, because it's probably her best work. and I've seen all 4 of her films now. It's her breezy communalist style, tapered from an on the offset, empathetic look at a native tribe, which really gets across the struggles to make your own way from where you came from. Its casts are excellent, especially the 2 leads, and it really makes you feel like you've walked on this reserve with this family, really emotionally involving.
Where are we?
Tokyo. A moving portal makes it harder to track us. Seeker's the best of them.
Lana Wachowski came back to the film series that made her who she is as this bold-faced rejection of people who tried to forge her work to make it how they wanted to, as well as culminating the love story that it's always been about. Nostalgia sequels are all the rage right now. I have a few on my worst list actually, and it's becoming to be really fucking tiresome. So to have one that comes back that kind of examines our relationship with the past, as well as how we can forge that into something greater moving forward, is really excellent. It really kind of skewers that idea of how we kind of, nurture ourselves in a nostalgia blanket. It's very confrontational while also being breezy and fun. Messy as hell, completely self-indulgent, and utterly beautiful. One of the best things to get across in war films is examining the person it can turn you into, and this one gets that across in spades, as we see a mother who is trying to leverage her connections as being a UN translator to try to help her family escape an oncoming invasion. As an army looms on her town, we see her superiors compromise themselves into utter futility, and we see the full extent of this cruelty in one of the most shocking and memorable final scenes I have seen all year. One of the best anti-war films I have watched in quite a while.
We love each other so much. We're scoffing at logic. This wasn't the plan. We love each other so much.
The Sparks Brothers had a really great year this year. On top of a really fantastic documentary, they made an even better musical with French maverick and maker of all-around weird shit, Leo Cara. Nailed it. Leo Cara got her first try. I'm probably still mispronouncing it though. It's about as dizzyingly wild and erratic as you'd expect. Combining the musician's penchant for creative bombast as well as the director's penchant for creative, surreal mundanity, as we get something that's outrageous, out there, and truly impossible to look away from.
Last month, I went dancing at this cute spot in Florida where my roommate's girl made like 5 G's a night. My roommate just told me that he going out there tomorrow, and he asked me if I had any friends that want to make some money, and you the first bitch I thought of.
One of the most popular Twitter threads of all time got made into a movie, and damn is it a good one. Not one to ignore the myriad facets of sex work and how you can just get sucked into hell really easily just through the connects you make. It's got an authenticity that is told through the artificiality of the tweets themselves, showing us a personality that may have escaped you had it not for this little bird app. She's also still on there too if you want to follow her. Killer soundtrack as well. A young girl and her best friend explore why this girl's aunt died single and having never married in this beautiful coming of age story that's set on the backdrop of modernization of this little Brazilian town. Really tears into the poisonous traditionalism of towns like this, as well as being a sweet story of self-discovery, love, and how women are subjugated by the culture that nurtured them. It's excellently shot. It's a really great final shot actually, and really leaves you feeling hopeful even with the death that inspires this whole story to begin with.
巡ることができます。酒も飲めるし、食事もまあまあ、スポーツも水泳も可能です。
I think you're hard to find someone as singularly distinctive as Nobuhiko Obayashi. His final movie examines how film affects culture and war, how young people seem to have it as ongoing foreboding, and how we can work together to prevent tragedy from happening. All of this in a movie that's completely outrageous and a hell of a lot of fun. It makes this fucking long ass film feel like such a breeze. I mean, if anyone can go out on a movie like this, I'm really happy Obayashi was able to. This film has a certain rhythm and sensibility it took me a while to vibe with, but once I did, it's probably one of the best, one of the most profound takes on loss I have ever watched in cinema. It really gets across that feeling of disorienting grief, the weight of it, the overall dreariness of it, while also still making it feel cinematic. It's an incredible achievement. I love when distinctive voices get to give their own takes on topics like this. And while I don't think I have fully cracked it, there's an anger and impertinence here that really resonated with me. There's this utter confident and captivating mood that makes me want to come back again and again and again. It really turns you off buying a bike online though.
Late yesterday because you were delayed by someone.
Why would you think I got delayed by someone?
Oh, come on, come on. They are circling us. Didn't you know? Don't you read?
It seems they're circling just me. Not you. Just me.
The thing is, Diana, there has to be two of you. You know, there's two of me, there's two of Father, two of everyone. There's the real one and the one they take pictures of.
Kirsten Stewart proves yet again, for people who just haven't been paying attention to her career for the last decade at least, that she is a powerhouse of an actress in this Oscar-worthy performance of Princess Di. We have a carefully produced and elegant nightmare that really shows that there's nothing like wealth to make you feel trapped in this cavalcade of pomposity and order. Pablo Larraín can really get the sadness of famous women at the end of their tether.
Defiance in the eyes, like his father.
Denis Villeneuve realizes a dream he has had since he was a kid, and goddamn, I am so happy he has. Dune is a novel all about details and putting you in this world that you could feel like you stepped foot in. And this movie really exemplifies this world building through this wonderful visual tapestry and sound design all throughout this epic still in the making. I am so excited for part two. It's where we get a blockbuster, this idiosyncratic and yet completely in tune with the popular consciousness. Popcorn fare that's both thoughtful and strikingly beautiful.
誰もあの子の代わりにはなれないわけだし。
でも同じぐらい愛せたかも。
君が望まないものを僕だけ望んでも仕方ないよ。
ごめんね。
君のせいじゃない。僕も君と一緒にそれを選んだんだ。だからいいんだよ。
Another dreamlike meditation on grief. This one is strikingly different though. Ryusuke Hamaguchi had a fantastic 2021, and this film really gets across his understanding of sensitivity, love, regret, and time. It's an incredible central performance from Hidetoshi Nishijima, an evocative score, and a really wonderful understanding of patience on ennui. This really breaks through the social more ways we live our lives and makes us wonder if there's ever a satisfying coda to it all.
Folk horror is based upon the juxtaposition of the prosaic and the uncanny.
Another really long film. It's been a fucking great year for long movies. This doc is amazing, not only getting across the impact and cultural context of folk horror, but also how it is affected by different countries and the lore and myths it takes to inspire it. It gives you a lot of really great recommendations for your watchers, as well as being a wonderful example of the filmic essay that I could have watched for 12 hours.
I don't like it. Can we go back?
No, it'll be fun. Let's play a game.
The video nasties craze is such a source of fascination for me. So, seeing a movie from the perspective of a BBFC worker, but with a twist, makes for an excellent horror movie. It's twisted and clever, and it examines the ridiculousness of such a witch hunt over something as innocuous as a horror film, while also examining our relationship with the genre itself. It's just a stylish and effectively shocking tale that's so wonderfully presented and framed. You'd never think that this was a first timer, as well as something that looks effectively low budget, appropriate considering the subject matter. Impressive all the way around.
You just take this process slowly and 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 see how it feels.
Yeah. And I'm just really sorry that your children died.
You know, I don't think I can do that part.
Yeah, I told you that's how me and Mom do it.
If it makes sense for your mom to do that, that's cool, but it doesn't make sense for me, and that's what I was explaining to you.
Why doesn't it make sense for you?
Because it's ridiculous.
Mike Millis hits us with a rather striking perspective: children's. It explores their perspective of the climate crisis through Joaquin Phoenix's character, who's a radio journalist going around the country interviewing them, and we see those interviews throughout the movie. But a lot of it is exploring the perspective of children, as well as our relationship to them via the world we have created for them. Phoenix has amazing chemistry with Woody Norman, and it really does feel like a half-remembered weekend you had with a distant relative. It feels so utterly real, and I love when films lead with their heart like this. Before I get onto my top 5, I want to mention 2 other pieces which technically do not count for my list, but if they did, they'd probably be 2 and 1 respectively. It's hard to explain grief, what you go through, and what it does to you. The short documentary manages to capture that by having them develop the photos of dead loved ones. And these are the last images they'll ever see of these people alive through fresh eyes. It really gets that melancholy of the envy of seeing photos of the past, capturing memories and experiences and lives with these people you will never get again. The beautiful relics of a past so long gone.
There are people that love you. That's not true necessarily, but there could be people that love you in the future and just don't. I've had people close to me kill themselves, and I'll be honest with you, didn't love it. Didn't love that. So just don't. But if I could kill myself for a year, if I could, I'd do it today.
But Burnham is one of the most empathetic comedians I've ever really come across. And he gets that through his sense of personal evocations and insight. And we really see this in the latest of his Netflix specials, which feels like a culmination of a lot of stuff he's exploring in the past too, while having the pandemic really frame it. That's why he's filming inside without an audience. It managed to get across the loneliness of not only the pandemic, but through technology, social malaise, and even his own personal success. It almost defies analysis, but it also prescribes you to keep watching. Okay, back to the main list.
An autograph from him? Because I saw you looking at it, I wasn't sure if you wanted one.
Tosca.
No, it's all right. He's very shy. Do you have a pen on you? All right. But if you want one, he'll sign one for you. He's shy, but he will. Either on a napkin, or if you have one of his piano albums, he'll...
Thanks.
Okay.
One of the rare joys of cinema is its ability to really catch me off guard. And watching a romance with 2 men, where one of them is dying, played by 2 straight guys, directed by what I'm presuming is another straight guy, I didn't think this would work for me at all, and yet it absolutely did. It really shows the power of beautiful, authentic storytelling, telling the story about a lifelong bond through the 2 excellent leads, both of them at the top of their game. It's one that subtly utilizes the fact that they are same-sex, but not in a way that's standoffish or really in your face. It's the movie that kind of moved me the most this year, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
All my life I've loved looking. The visual world has been my joy. And as a filmmaker, it's been my work too. But now I realise that I have a cataract. My eyesight is dimming.
Mark Cousins is, if you pardon the absolutely awful pun, a huge blind spot for me. And this movie really proves why I've been doing myself a great disservice. It's an excellent exploration of the power and history of visual language, framed through the fact that Cousins has massive anxiety over an eye surgery, as well as his reaction to an old interview by Ray Charles. I love the contrast of the very bland camera of him recording himself in bed on his phone, the beautiful vistas he'll show you later. That really shows the power of visual storytelling is in where we seek it.
Kind of a safe house for me. The family who lives here is out of town. I don't know when they're coming back, but it's not today.
Let's waste some time.
I love movies that take these old tropes that feel like they've been done to death and there's nothing really interesting you can get out of them, and finding a new angle that completely surprises and compels me. This one is quite a doozy. It's a Groundhog Day scenario where the character seems to have lived like seemingly millions of years within the time space of the loop, where he obviously doesn't age or anything like that, but he has the memories of his time living this day over and over and over again. Both the characters do. It's a great metaphor of being stuck in perpetuity, both showing the mental development of a character while he never really moves, which gets across both these people's stories in terms of them not moving forward with their lives, being held back for several different reasons. It's a future comfort watch for me, and the best duo, romantic or comedic, I've seen in a while, where they manage to contrast this absolute hilarity with really effective drama. It's one of the best films I've seen in the last couple of years.
Og til dem af jer, der har sovet de sidste 18 år, så kan jeg lige informere om, at det her, det er General Grant, det er Ernest Hemingway og gode gamle Winston Churchill. Hvad er I tilfælles med dem? I drikker som svin. Det gør I hver uge, hele året. Rigtig mange genstande, og derfor skal jeg lige stille nogle spørgsmål her. Jason, du er en frisk fyr, vi tager dig.
There's a lot of stories that reflect on alcohol and its effects, mainly through alcoholism itself. But this film about binge drinking really takes a distinctive lens on it. I've seen people who say it really glamorizes and makes drinking out to be this great crack. And I've seen people, myself included, that makes it seem like an absolute fucking horror show. And I don't think either perspective is wrong. It's just how you view it. And I think that's a great thing about films that let you take away whatever you want from it. It's got a great sense of performance from the always sensational Matt Nicholson. Just a really effectively moody character piece that ends with one of the best scenes I've seen all year. Really one you shouldn't miss.
Cette police appelle officiellement la population au calme et renforce les effectifs policiers sur le terrain. La piste d'un tueur en série n'est pas évoquée pour le moment, mais les appels à témoins se multiplient.
Julia Ducournau got on my radar because of Raw, this really effective, gross and involving horror film that just kept on escalating to heights I never thought it would. This film goes even further than that. One thing I love about it is that it really throws a lot of visual craziness at you and hard-hitting horror effects and body horror and stuff like that, but it knows when to hold back and keep you in this tense waiting period until it wants to get across what it needs to. It reminds me of this old Silent Happiness sketch from a couple of years back where somebody's running after a bus, but he's going so fast he decides to kind of break records and become an Olympic runner and stuff like that, and that has a really great payoff. This is the same thing where you're so sucked up into the story between this man and what he thinks is his son, but it's actually this murderer in disguise, that you kind of forget, oh yeah, there's some weird shit with car sex about to kind of have a payoff in a, I won't say what. It has so much to say about gender connections, the lies we tell ourselves, and the tragedies that form our destinies, all through the veneer of car pregnancy and serial killer comedy scenes. Packed, and it's utterly fascinating. The first time I saw it, there was no way this wasn't going to be my favorite film of 2021. And there is my list. Go away.